Hey y'all, welcome back to Right at the Wire. Well, as part of our daily stakes play from Saratoga, we're going to be looking at the John's Call Stakes, which is a marathon race on turf for Wednesday's card. So let's take a look at it. Okay, the John's Call is an ungraded stakes run on the turf at a mile and 5/8, and it's important to note, if we look at the configuration, this is a three-turn race. So this will start on the backstretch, and they'll go three turns. Number one is Good Skate. It's trained by Mike Maker. This is his specialty, stretching horses out. And you can see in the last two, since they moved this one to turf, has really been stepping it up. And coming in third off the layoff where Maker's 19%, I think this one has a pretty good chance. The last time closed pretty well. Pioneering Spirit was just too much, but this one had a pretty good trip. Needs to be a little more forwardly placed, I think, to be a factor here. But the form is good, and I don't think the distance is going to be a problem based on the last couple, although the pedigree really doesn't scream two turns. I think you have to like this one, and this one would be a use. Probably going to make another move forward. Number two is Seraphos, and this is a Grand Motion. This is another one where long distances on the turf are something that he does well. Wortharm and Frere, excellent connections. And you get into Mischief, the leading sire at Saratoga. This one was kind of interesting in the last race in that he was pretty keen early on, and then for some reason Giroux decided to take him back, and it really cost him in the later stages of the race, I thought. This one closed pretty well. An improved position, but I thought taking back was a bit of an error because it didn't really give this one chance to compete, and Pioneering Spirit got the jump, and that was pretty much it. Another one who is moving forward, has some upside at 4 years old, but if I'm going to use, I definitely want to have a price possible for under. Don't think is a logical win candidate. Number three is Burning Bright. Norm Cassie is just lights out at Saratoga. Everything he sends out turns to gold. This one is certainly bred for the distance, being by Empire Maker, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. The last one was taken off the turf, so you can kind of draw a line through it. I think turf is what this one wants. Is going to try to take them all the way on the front end. The problem is that you do have Tide of the Sea in here, who's a little more accomplished and probably has a bit of a speed edge, but this one will have the inside, and when they do take the races off the turf, or they take away the rail, maybe there's some possibility there, but I kind of think that this one will be a little up against it trying to wire this field, so Burning Bright would be a toss. Pioneering Spirit, trained by Linda Rice, Jose Ortiz, they've just been lights out at this meet. And aside from that, I think you got a horse here who's rounding into form and is really on top of his game. Has won now 4 straight, and I think it'll probably be 5. This one looks awful good to me. I think we'll be just sitting probably about mid-pack off the pace and likely to get first jump on some of the others here, and couldn't be coming into this race in better form and is an obvious win candidate. British Royalty number 4. It's trained by Barbara Minshaw. Bruce Lunsford, good connections here, and it's interesting that you get Kimura comes in for this race. Last one was off a layoff, and where it was clear that this one needed a break. The last couple were really disappointing, but this one has back class and has proven himself at graded stakes at longer distances. So I think this one is in good shape. Stayed on the hedge the whole way in the last race, saving all kinds of ground, and then made a nice move late and closed very well up along the hedge. Would have liked to have seen this one engaged a little sooner, but I thought it was a really good race. No sin losing to Siskany. He's the class of the long distance races. But I think this one had a really nice effort. And I'm not sure that this one has quite enough to get past Pioneering Spirit, but I think is a very logical use and has a chance, could very well take this down. Is certainly good enough. Number 5 is Tawny Port, and I don't think they've figured out what to do with this horse yet. They've tried coming from off the pace. They've tried being up on the pace. It seems to be pretty one-paced on turf anyway in the last race. Brad Cox couldn't figure out what to do with this horse, and so I guess they decided now turf will try. Didn't do bad in the Bowling Green, but just didn't have anything late, and that was really the issue. And again, seemed kind of one-paced. This one's going to have to prove it to me before I'm going to back. And again, wasn't a bad effort, and maybe can move forward off of that. Certainly possible with Christophe Clement. But I want to see it first. If I am going to use, I definitely want to have a price. Number 6 is Tide of the Sea, and this one will be the speed more than likely. It certainly has the back class, stakes placed, graded stakes, and finished third in this race last year. We'll try to take him all the way, and that's what he does. And I'm just not sure that it's possible for this one to do it. He's going to have a little bit of a challenge on the front end from Burning Bright. And while I think this one can do it, I just don't think the scenario sets up terribly well for him. So maybe can hang on for under, but I don't. I just can't see it. So I'm gonna probably pass. Side Dog is another one. Graham Motion, good with long distance races, and this one is coming in third off the layoff and has been progressing, as you can see. The last couple has steadily gotten better. Leaves himself a little too much to do late. That's really the big issue I have with this one. I think the form is good. I think another jump forward is certainly possible. But I have a feeling that underneath is probably the limit unless they can figure out a way to get this one into the race a little sooner. The Reds is kind of the same as Tawny Port. I think this is a horse they can't quite figure out what to do with him. Joe Sharp, nice trainer, and you do get Gaffleon. Those are both positives for sure. But I did note that Chad Brown had this horse for one race and put up for a tag right away. And that, to me, is kind of a red flag. It seemed like he gave up on him right away. He's one that just perennially seems to disappoint. Every time you think this horse is going to run a good race, he just doesn't. And now he's moving to turf. Tonal is to 7% with first-time turfers, and there's really not much turf pedigree underneath with the dam. So it has been gelded, so maybe that'll make a difference. It's been approximately a month, so there's been some time for the adjustment, and maybe that'll help. But again, this is one that I want to prove it to me, especially going on turf for the first time into a stakes race with some pretty salty horses. So the Reds can kind of go either way with. I want a price, but I think under is probably the limit. And then if this one does go to the main track, of course, all bets are off at that point, especially since most of these want to run on turf. You probably got to like Tawny Port and the Reds a little more if it goes to dirt. But Mystic Knight, number 10, Bobby Diodoro has just been ice cold at this meet. Every angle where, you think you got a good place for him just hasn't worked out. And his barn's just been awful cold. He just hasn't followed up on that Oaklawn form. So this one is in pretty good form, I guess you could say. But you'd have to like some others a little better on the dirt because there are some ones with a little more prominent dirt form. But coming in second off the layoff, logical that this one could make a move forward. Little step up in class. Not sure that this one's up to it. But if it does go to dirt, you probably have to use. So here's what our top 5 looks like for the John's Call. Number 1, we're going to go with Pioneering Spirit. I think this one is on a roll. Is going for his 5th straight win, is in great form, outclassed the last field, and I think another move forward is very logical. Should be sitting about mid-pack, and I think is going to get the jump on some of the other more prominent runners. Looks awful good as a win candidate. Number 2, we're going to go with British Royalty. I like the last effort. This one has the back class, but I wonder a little bit about getting engaged in time to be effective in this race. I think we'll be coming late. And if it gets a good trip, has every chance to win it. I just like Pioneer Spirit a little bit better, but I think this one's very logical for under. Number 3, we're going to go with Good Skate. I think this is another one that is on the upswing. The form is good, coming in third off the layoff. Should be coming late. Did pretty well in the last race against Pioneering Spirit, and may, with a little luck, might be able to get up, but I think under is more likely. Number 4, we're going to go with Tide of the Sea. I think this one will be leading them on a merry chase for 3 turns. I'm not sure that this one can hang on late, but has enough probably to stay underneath, given some of the other runners have some questionable form coming late. So I think this one maybe can stick around. And then number 5, we'll go with Side Dog. This is another one that is on the upswing. I'm just not sure is good enough to win this race, and I think leaves a little too much to do late, and that's really the biggest concern, but certainly could get underneath, and I think you'll probably get a decent price. So that's the top 5 for the John's Call. I think it's going to be a pretty good race. It's a pretty deep field. There's some salty performers there, and I like Pioneering Spirit a lot, but you never know. British Royalty looks pretty good too, so I think it'll be a competitive race. Should be exciting in the stretch. If you do like content like this, you can go on over to redditthewire.com. We've got full coverage of Saratoga, 2-year-old analysis, daily stakes plays, as well as full card analysis on the weekends. So if you do play the spa, it's a good resource for you. Go on over there and take a look. If you do like what you see here, please like and subscribe. This does help to keep us going. And again, we do want to thank all those new people who have joined on. Thanks for being part of the community. Look forward to having you on our journey throughout the rest of the Thoroughbred season. So that's it for today. We're going to continue with our daily stakes plays throughout the meet at Saratoga, so be on the lookout for those postings. And I'll talk to you in the near future, and until then, be well.